Welcome back. Okay, today we are unpacking a massive geopolitical shift that actually just went into effect on July 15, 2026. Now, if you follow global economics, you know that trade agreements can be incredibly dense, but they fundamentally rewire how the world does business. So in this explainer, we're going to cut right through the noise of the India-UK Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, or CETA. We're looking directly at the data to see exactly how this ripple effect is rewriting supply chains and transforming economies across both nations.
$140 million. I mean, let that sink in for a second. That is the exact value of Indian goods exported to the UK on the very first day of this agreement. And here's the absolute kicker. Every single dollar of that entered the UK at zero customs duty. Literally zero. This isn't some far-off future projection, it's a day-one reality. A splash of that magnitude creates an immediate ripple effect across the whole global supply chain, suddenly making Indian exporters hyper-competitive in one of the biggest consumer markets on Earth.
All right, let's dive right in. Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the day one impact, then move into India's export boom, new doors for professionals, what the UK gets, and finally, the big picture.
Section 1. The Day 1 Impact, July 15, 2026.
So, to truly grasp the size of this shift, we need to understand what we're actually dealing with here. CETA stands for the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, but let's take that out of the textbook for a minute. At its core, this pact acts like a massive economic multiplier. It's kind of like turning the key on a brand new economic engine. It's specifically engineered to substantially increase trade, turbocharge foreign investment, create sustainable employment, and just radically open up market access. Honestly, it's widely considered one of India's most ambitious bilateral agreements since Brexit.
Now here's where it gets super interesting, the timing. Because on day one, the setup is totally asymmetrical. For India, there's this massive immediate benefit. 99% of UK tariff lines are now completely duty-free for Indian products right out of the gate. The UK, on the other hand, receives gradual phased tariff reductions. And this is just brilliant strategic pacing. It gives Indian domestic industries that crucial breathing room to adjust to incoming British competition while instantly handing Indian exporters an undeniable price advantage globally.
Moving along to Section 2, India's export boom, 99% tariff-free.
Think about what happens when 99% of tariff lines just drop to zero overnight. The absolute biggest winners are labor-intensive industries. We're talking about physical goods that require massive workforces. Textiles, garments, leather, footwear, marine products, all the way to gems, jewelry, and handcrafts. By totally dropping the import taxes in the UK, these products become instantly more competitive compared to exporters from countries that don't have a free trade agreement with the UK. It essentially creates an overnight pricing moat that protects and expands Indian manufacturing jobs. And you can see how this pricing advantage translates directly into commercial momentum. For textiles and apparel, zero-duty access equals higher export volumes almost instantly as UK retail buyers shift their sourcing. For leather and footwear, we're looking at significant export growth. Engineering goods are seeing expanded demand through lower tariffs. So this isn't just a hypothetical list, it's a real-world blueprint of where commercial benefits are already flowing. It's driving job creation right now and expanding manufacturing capacity back in India to meet all this newly unlocked demand.
You know, sometimes these high-level government treaties can feel miles away from everyday reality, right? But this momentum cascades directly down to MSMEs, micro, small, and medium enterprises. It's the democratization of global trade. Here is the actual what's in it for me for everyday business owners. Step 1, they get much easier export procedures, completely cutting through the red tape. Step 2, reduce tariff barriers suddenly make their goods way more attractive to international buyers. And Step 3, they get expanded direct access to UK buyers and supply chains. It empowers the local manufacturer to confidently step right into the global arena.
Which brings us to Section 3, New Doors for Professionals, Beyond Goods.
All right, so it's not just about moving physical boxes on ships. This is the human capital ripple. We are looking at specific, highly skilled sectors. IT, engineering, architecture, finance, consultancy, education, where Indian professionals are going to see fundamentally easier mobility. If you work in these fields, CETA means less red tape, stronger mutual recognition of your qualifications, and far smoother pathways to take your expertise directly into the UK market. It is a huge win for India's service-driven economy.
But actually, there's this one highly impactful detail that often gets totally buried in the fine print. CETA includes specific Social Security-related benefits for eligible Indian professionals working temporarily in the UK. This is absolutely crucial on a human level. It ensures that temporary workers aren't penalized or left without a safety net while they're actively contributing to the UK economy. It makes taking a 2-year contract in London or Manchester so much more viable and secure for top-tier Indian talent.
Section 4. What the UK gets. A two-way street.
Now, trade is always reciprocal, right? It's a two-way street. So India has agreed to reduce import duties on some very specific, high-value British products. We're talking premium automobiles, Scotch whiskey, gin, advanced medical equipment, cosmetics, and industrial machinery. But remember what we talked about earlier? These are phased reductions. So over time, not overnight, that British luxury vehicle or high-end bottle of Scotch will slowly become much more competitively priced for Indian consumers. It's a win for the UK, securing access to a fast-growing economy, but paced so it doesn't shock the Indian market.
Section 5. The big picture. Global implications.
Let's zoom all the way out for a second to look at the long-term strategy here. For India, this radically diversifies export markets, which naturally reduces economic reliance on any single region. It's expected to heavily boost foreign investment, fueled by clearer, more predictable rules. It drastically speeds up customs clearance of the borders. And this is a big one. It opens up eligible UK government procurement markets. That means Indian tech, infrastructure, and healthcare companies can now actually bid on lucrative public service projects backed by the UK government.
So, what does this all mean? All of these elements converge on one massive takeaway. CETA literally turbocharges the Make in India initiative. By securing that 99% duty-free access and deeply integrating domestic businesses into global value chains, India is really proving its manufacturing competitiveness on the world stage. It's about robust job creation and a fierce commitment to high-standard global trade that's going to benefit the economy for decades.
Which leaves us with this final thought. CETA is a transformative milestone. It sets a brand new benchmark for bilateral economic relations, and the early implementation is already showing staggering results. So, it raises a truly fascinating question for the future. With the UK market now wide open and this blueprint proven to work, which global powerhouse will India partner with next? Keep your eyes on the data, folks. The global trade map is being redrawn right before our eyes.